Okay, people, so I think it's like February 29th. It's Saturday anyway. 2020. Before I start my day here, I just wanted to say that I'm going through Shimei's medical records now. Page by page, section by section. And I'm just putting them right now in between those plastic sheets. I'm probably making it harder for myself when the time comes to photocopy them, but I need to organize them. It's enough to go through them and read them and try and understand what you're reading when you know, people, and this is the point of this video, when you know that half, if not more, is falsified. In the context of, I'm looking at the different tests that they did on Shimei, right? Like, you know, apparently they had her on a ventilator. Apparently, people. So they have, you know, page by page by page by page by page, everything that relates to the ventilator. Which, when you look in my videos, the ventilator that they had her hooked up to looks more like an embalming machine that holds the fluid in terms of shape than it does a ventilator. Right? And when you go into my videos that, you know, I did what I did with the camera going up close or changing the exposure, I have documentation of whatever tubes that were over coming this way were all one color that was equal to the color of her face. That it wasn't oxygen going into her body. It was something else, people. And then, you know, the urine test, the blood test, all this other stuff. And the urine, I'm wondering where they got the urine from, though, because it's documented that Shimei urinated while sitting up before she died. Or at the time of death. At the time of death. She urinated and defecated, people. So where did they get this urine from? It would have had to been way up in the freaking kidneys or someplace like that. Right? And then just knowing what I know in terms of... See, I've written out like 7 pages or something like that for my notice of claim. And I've given it to somebody that will be giving it to a lawyer to look over. But this is just a rough draft, okay? I give myself 2 more weeks to write what needs to be written. But I have to be to the point, basically. So I disagree with these test results of any kind or monitoring of procedures in terms of a ventilator. Those are all falsified records, in my opinion, when you're relating to the embalming of a body and then having it on display to be made to look as if it was alive when it was not. That's where I'm coming in from. And they're going to say, oh, no, but if you look here, it says in these medical files that, you know, we did this, this, and this, and this, and this, and we followed through on the duty of care, right? Fuck off, Miss Charney. Haven't you learnt your lesson with Mr. Dunklin yet? Right? With Andrew the Dragon blowing fire all over the courthouse. Andrew the Dragon is going to go down in history, people. Little does he know it. So it's really hard for me to appreciate these medical records, right? Because I don't see them to be true. I don't see how they could be logging the procedures and, you know, the results of a ventilator for 9 days when Shimei didn't even take one breath. Like, think about it. Right? So it goes back to, right, you cannot put oxygen, people, into a dead body. Because if you put oxygen, in terms of resuscitate a dead body with oxygen, what you do, or what they do, is they speed up the decomposition process. It accelerates it, okay? That's why they have up to 15 hours to harvest organs from cadavers, which are dead. Not cadavers on life support that have been resuscitated. Maybe a cadaver on life support with that life support being there officially before the person died. Then yes, that's feasible, but not in Shimei's case, okay? And that's why they embalmed her, because they know it. And the only way to stop a body from turning black and smelling is through embalming it, right? That's the only way. Not machines with a ventilator pumping oxygen into a dead body, okay? That would have only accelerated it, in addition to the ambient temperature of the room, which would be warm. Right? There's a reason why they put dead bodies in cold storage, too. A hospital room is not cold storage, but it would be suffice if the body was embalmed. So everything that I read in Shimei's medical files when it comes to a fucking test or a procedure is falsified, people. I have to write that down. That's my stance. And then the government lawyer will come back and say, oh no, she's being frivolous and scandalous, and we deny that we did anything wrong. That's what they're going to do. So I'm kind of stuck. Yeah, I feel kind of stuck. Because it doesn't even seem real, people, but it's real. Okay, so just to give you an example, this is what I've been doing. You can see. Now when it comes time, obviously, I'm going to have to take everything out, and I mean, it takes a little longer, versus I should have ran it through the main printer, right? I should have ran it through the main printer, like at Staples, and had a second copy and then do this, but I only have so much money. So anyway, this is what I'm doing right now, and this is what I'm talking about. See, it says respiratory therapy flow sheet. I mean, like, they did this for 9 days, people. This is impossible. And then, hold on. And then in here, if you see, issue comments. Okay, what was the date on this one? The 13th. Okay, do you see? And it was daytime. No comments right here. Still on the 13th. No, 12th. What do we got? What was I reading? 16th? April 9th. So it goes this way. Post-arrest? I don't know what that is. Rewarming. This was on the 13th because they had her on ice packs for 3 days. Post-arrest. CT had severe injury. Family meeting in the morning. This was on the 14th. No, we did not meet until the 16th. Know this. How can you do this on a dead body? Tell me. How is it possible to do this on a dead body? Severe injury. Right? As of last night. Now we're on the 15th. Going on the 16th. Right here. Severe anoxic brain injury. 16th. Brain dead. Post-arrest. Waiting for family for withdrawal of care. That's the 17th. Brain injury, brain death, April 16th. Do you see how they just import a date of death even though she was dead when she showed up? Post-arrest, 2% to, I don't know what that, dry OD, something, see? Anorexic brain injury. That was the 19th. And this is before they cut off their machine. Nighttime. Ventilator turned off as per family request. So they put that on the family. Although the doctor told us we had no choice. Is to be withdrawn care, whatever. So, anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Like, I disagree. This is all falsified. This is not real. She was not breathing. She was not on a ventilator, in my opinion. You can't run oxygen through a dead body. It accelerates the decomposition process. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying here, people? It just goes on and 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 on, and then it goes into something else. Is this the same one? Oh, no, that's the same one. There you go. Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to upload this now because you don't know how upsetting this is for me, people. Right? Like, just walking away from it, I'm like this. Because the real part of it is the paper. Okay? We know that the paper is real. And we know that the black lettering on the paper is real, but we know that some of that information is not. We know the standard form in terms of fill out the blanks is real, but we also know that what's the numbers being written into those blanks is not real. Unless, of course, it's my imagination and I should just accept what they tell me. Because those numbers say so, right? It wouldn't have been written down unless it was true, right? We're working with professional healthcare staff here. People who have our best interest at heart, right? People who the government employs to protect and to serve and to help, right? So that society in general could be more healthy as a whole. That is the purpose of government employees, is to help accelerate in terms of like, you know, a more well-rounded and prosperous society in general. So, oh yeah, I forgot to mention too, and here's the other thing, people. I know 99.9% sure who took out Shamay's organs. Okay, people, I know. But I can't go, well, you know, it's this doctor, blah, 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 who works at the blah, 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 blah. Because he's a doctor, right? And God forbid if you defame a doctor. But, you know, I'm wondering if this guy, when he's just walking around in the general public, okay, you know, just going to the grocery store, pick up some milk for the wife, right? You know, that kind of thing. And I'm wondering if he has any shame. I really wonder how he can justify what he did to my daughter. Okay? They're not going to go as far, people, as to embalm a body if they're not taking something out of that body. Otherwise, they would have had the coroner come to the house and do a forensic investigation, including a forensic autopsy with the police standing there witnessing that autopsy, because Shamay was dead under suspicious circumstances. And, you know, most people are under the impression that when a body is being investigated and they're having to have criminal investigation autopsies around that investigation, right, it kind of destroys the chance of harvesting organs. Right? So even if I would have wanted to donate those organs, if the cops would have done their job, it wouldn't have mattered, because those organs would have become evidence in a case. And it's all Russian roulette with the organ fucking harvesting fucking industry these days. It's a hit and miss what you're gonna get. All we know is they want them. And they're gonna get them by any means necessary. So as I go through this paperwork, obviously I'm pinpointing certain things, right? And I've done my research, and it was a certified gynecologist who has his own special team that works with him when he's in gynecology surgery. And the thing is, that person, you know, didn't even have the audacity or the balls, people, to meet me in the whole time that Shamay was in that hospital room. Okay? The only time I seen that person was when Dr. Gould, right, the brain doctor, called us in on the 16th because they knew what was happening to her body. The signs of decomposition while being embalmed were beginning to show, and it would have been harder for them to fucking fool us, so they had to act quick. So they called us in, And then the brain doctor showed me those images, which I asked the Surrey Memorial Hospital to fucking give me a copy, and I have yet to receive them, people. Anyway, those images, you know, showed where apparently something was leaking this way, and Shmay was gone, and they had to shut off the machines. So that was made arrangements for the 19th. Because they were playing her off as still being somewhat viable through their ventilator machine. But they didn't have her on a ventilating machine. They had her in an embalming machine. That circulated the fluid through her face, basically, to give that illusion that she was alive. And when we walked, after that meeting with the Dr. Gould, we walked to Shmay's room, all of us, and the Grim Reaper, that doctor, the one that never took the time to say hello, Miss Chorney, you know, I'm sorry for your loss, or this is what's happening, or nothing. When I would ask to speak to a doctor, there was no doctors to be found when I was talking to the nurses, right? One time one guy walked in. I said, "Are you the doctor?" "No." And then he walked out. The only doctor that we ever spoke to was Dr. Gould. The brain doctor. The one who pronounced Shmay dead. The one who looked like a Dr. Gould. Like a Frankenstein doctor with his tousled hair. And then when we walked in to go to Shmay's room after that meeting, there was the Grim Reaper doctor, standing off way in the back, looking, glaring, looking. Didn't even have the balls to come up and say something to me, people. But I know who he is. I know who he is. And now I understand why he was so shady. But the thing is, he walks among us in the fucking grocery stores. Right? Pretending like what he did was such a good thing because he helped 8 other people through a fucking lie. Through a fucking lie. This is a lie I'm living, people. Okay, people. It's, what is it? February 27th, I think? Or the 28th. Anyway, it's Friday. No, it's Friday. This is the old walnut. Remember? Big gaping hole now. We really do miss our trees, people. We really miss our walnut trees. Look what these guys are doing. So anyway, you can see this is going to be one big ass ugly building. That's all it's going to be, people. Right? What is it, 4 or 5 stories high? I guess the parking's in the basement. Doesn't look like, I don't know. Does that look like parking to you? Laundry? Who knows? But like I said,
I think it's just going to be a parking lot.
Yeah. Anyway.